So let's talk about adding multiple enemies and creating multiple paths. Because if you're probably going to have multiple enemies or multiple NPCs, this case is specifically enemies, but you're going to have multiple enemies and you don't want them to follow the exact same path, right? You want them to follow their own individual path. So let's go in and add another hedgehog. Let's see, zoom out a bit. So we have our original hedgehog, which I've moved onto just the instance layer. So I have my kiwi, and then I'll have all my other objects on here. And I've gone ahead and created 2 new paths. So let me just start by showing you that. So we have our original path, and we're going to call that path default. And that's kind of just being used as a placeholder right now. And yes, I did alter the shape of it. And then I made 2, since I'm adding 2 hedgehogs in this world right now, I have path for hedgehog 1 and path for hedgehog 2. And I've placed them in the world, moved them around where I want them. Let's just click on that layer. So hedgehog 1 is here. This is, and I've deleted, I should back up. I've deleted that path 1 or default path out of this world. So I only have path 1 and path 2. Those are my brand new paths that I've created. And so essentially what's going to happen is for each enemy, we have to assign them their unique path. So when I bring in another hedgehog, let's just drag them, oops, 1 second, click on the right layer, so I'm dragging him into the correct layer. Boom. So you see I have my kiwi, hedgehog 1, hedgehog 2. And if I run this, it might not, yep, we're getting a boo-boo. So we can't run it like that. So we have to add a variable to our master hedgehog object. We go to variable definitions, and we're just going to add 1, and we'll call this path _to_ follow, and we're going to call this path default and change it to an asset, and then just leave it. So path default is here. So essentially the all the objects are being assigned this path default to follow, but since this isn't in the world, it's and it doesn't have its own path layer, it is it's not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen. So in my events for hedgehog, I'm going to rename this path to follow to that new variable, paths to no s, path to follow. Cool. So make sure you change that, especially if you have more than 1 enemy. You probably will. So now we have path to follow, path default is set. All right, looks good. But what happens is it's still not going to run. Let's see if it does anything. Nope. Oh. Well, he's there. But hedgehog 2 is not there. So, yep, that is right. So what we're going to do is make sure our instance layer is selected. Double click this guy and go to variables and then edit this so we have path default listed. We're going to override that and add path 1. Close out, close out. Now I'm going to go down here. I have to do the same thing for Hedgehog 2. Double click, variables, override this, and this variable is only particular to the object or enemy or NPC I am selecting in my room. So this doesn't affect your workspace like master list or master resource, whatever you want to call that. This is totally fine to change. So let's go and assign him to number 2. Close this out. And then let's run it. It should work now. Okay, so he's following his path. Looks good. Let's go down here. And he's following this path. Great. So you do have to make a new path layer for each enemy's path. And not only that, but you have to have those path assets. So make sure you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many enemies you're going to bring into your world, you want to give them their individual path. So I have these, and let's just throw these into a folder, and we'll call that Hedgehog paths. So that way they're all tucked away neatly here, and I can reference them if I need to. That should be it.